Let's be revolutionary. Yeah, we can be so much more. Let's be more than ordinary.
Welcome, this is Focus Forward Business Design. I am Lee Wilson, your certified high performance coach. So I spent the last couple of weeks digging into the psychology behind goals and what can set us up for failure and what goals tend to never get achieved. The piece that I want to talk about this week answers the question of where should I be setting my goals in my life and how are they best defined and planned for to achieve the maximum results. So this can be in direct correlation with what oftentimes gets referred to as our big why. Now I know you're going to push back here and you're going to say, oh no Lee, this has nothing to do with my big why. I beg to differ though. If you have been with me for a while, you have heard me talk about your big why and how elusive it can be to many people, me included in a huge way. So I'm going to jump in here and digress while I tell you a quick story that you may be able to relate to. So if you've ever been exposed to the concept that we all need a big reason for doing what we do every day, you're going to understand this. It's our big motivator. It keeps us excited about our long-term missions. It can be our family, or maybe it's a foundation you believe in. It can be a short-term objective of that 3-week vacation you've been dreaming of. The why can change as life changes, and it will. But here is where I was getting stuck. I attended so many classes that would talk about my big why, and I could never come up with one, and really began to wonder if I did not have enough meaning in my life, or anything, quite frankly, that I cared deeply enough about. Was I just going through the paces of survival every day? Of course, I love my family, and I thought I had direction, but nothing that I would have considered the big kahuna that I would walk on hot coals for to get to the other side. I talked to a lot of my coaching students and they felt the same way. They couldn't identify that one big thing. And so we kind of started analyzing this, and one day, many years later, the light bulb went on for me. I needed more than one big why. I was special. I needed big whys in different parts of my life, and this had never been presented. I found out this worked for my coaching students as well. Once I thought it through, I developed great clarity. You see, when I had to come up with one big why, it didn't necessarily correlate with every area in my life. In other words, it wasn't even relevant in many areas. Therefore, I couldn't see a way to succeed. So when I set numerous big whys, and let's be clear here, there's not a ton of them, just a few. For example, my big why in my personal life, maybe that's my marriage and then my family, or my big why within my business. By having a few big whys, I'm able to set goals and directives that get me excited and moving forward in different areas of my life. I challenge you right now to stop this video or audio or quit reading right now and sit back for a minute. I want you to close your eyes. Think about the things that are really important to you. What immediately comes to mind? Those are very likely part of your big whys. You may find yourself smiling as you think of this. Don't stop yet though, or cheat by opening your eyes. Let your mind go where it will. You may find yourself feeling a bit of emotion about things that are emerging. Maybe it's even feelings of disappointment because journeys or relationships didn't turn out the way that you envisioned or you hoped that they would. That's okay. Let yourself recognize those big rocks in your world. They're what make up the best of you and who you want to be and who you want to influence. So now you can see how this can come back full circle. Since this week was supposed to be on goals, it'd probably be good if I get to it. But I am. When I have my big rocks defined and they push me to a higher level of success, I need a path and direction to get there. So what I want to focus on this week is 3 types of goals. Now that we know the difference between process goals and outcome goals, now if you're fuzzy here, that's okay. Go back, review last week's episode, and you're going to be up to speed real quickly. But just a quick reminder, without the process goals, the likelihood of success with the outcome goals is greatly reduced. Okay, let's get to it. The first type of goal we have all heard of, short-term goals. But let's define that, because as you're setting your goals, you want to know what short-term really is. It's crucial that we're very clear on what short-term and where does it start becoming long-term. So honestly, some of your short-term goals may end up being considered process goals for something larger. So your short-term goals are something that you can very clearly see and you can feel the result of. They're going to happen in the immediate future. Again, think of these as smaller or little steps to the ultimate goal. Now, don't get trapped up in the cycle of setting to-dos as short-term goals. Remember, all goals potentially lead to a greater life. I'm certain that getting laundry done does not lead to a greater life. Maybe easier, but not greater. Some examples of your short-term goals might be to maybe lose 2 pounds a week for the next month, or to save 10% of your net pay over the next 6 pay periods. This is going to help you save money for that new car or that vacation. How about reading a book a month, making that a short-term goal? That would help you reach a larger goal of opening a new business. But you know you need education on leadership as you staff your dreams, so you're going to start reading those books. The second type of goal that we're going to talk about is long-term. Now, this may seem very obvious, but you might be surprised at how many people throw all their short-term and all their long-term goals in the same bucket and try to figure out what to do with them, and they don't recognize that each one has to be planned for differently. Your long-term goals can easily be pushed aside if they're not constantly on your radar, as they're far enough in the future, you don't feel the immediate consequence of not achieving them. There's no short-term punishment. However, the long-term results of not reaching these goals, they can have much larger negative effects on you if they're truly important to you. These are the goals that you've set to give you a bigger life or bring you happiness and joy. Not achieving these, that shouldn't even be an option, as they may be life-changing, and you owe it to yourself to find success here. So to find success, long-term goals must have steps that are consistently being taken to get you closer with every action. This requires planning and being truly aware of the importance of giving this goal your full attention in little bites. So some examples of a long-term goal, they might include maybe starting that new business or getting that master's degree that you've always wanted. Maybe you've always dreamt of moving to another country. One that we hear a lot but tends to not be planned for as well as it should be is investing for retirement. So you can see how all of these could literally be life-changing, but they are going to require some longer time attention and some diligent work. The final type of goal that we're going to talk about and dive into today are those lifetime goals. These go back to those big whys that we talked about at the beginning. These goals are your passions. They literally may bring tears to your eyes when you visualize about what it's going to be like when you achieve them. Sometimes these can get lost, though, when we're in day-to-day survival mode. It is important to reconnect to these, though, as they give us that joy and that excitement. And when we are going through challenging times, they can revitalize us, and they can give us that hope that we all need. One thing about lifetime goals is that we don't tend to get as frustrated with these when we don't reach them quickly as we do with other goals, long-term or short-term. Psychologically, we seem to know that these are an ongoing project that will likely take us through a good portion of our lives. Oftentimes, these are goals that get larger the longer we lived, so great motivation for living to be over 100. Some examples are travel to every country by the time you retire, or run a marathon every year until you're 85 years old. Maybe it's always been a dream to start a foundation to help underprivileged children participate in music or sports. That list is endless, because it's yours to make and yours to breathe life into. But like long-term goals, it will require constant attention to make sure that little pieces are being undertaken to move that needle just a little bit every week or month. Regardless of whether you are setting short-term or long-term goals, or even defining your lifetime goals, share your aspirations with others. By bringing people into your vision, it creates a reality that you will need to feel accountable to. People will ask you, hey, how are you doing on achieving that goal? We all need people to share in our joys and our dreams, and we also need them to pick us up and cheer us on when the road gets bumpy. And it will. That's life. I hope that you have found this helpful. If you would do me a great big favor and share this with 5 of your people that you think would find value in this, we would sure appreciate it. We want to spread the support as far as we can, but we need your help to do it. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to go deeper into the things that are going to take you to the level of the highest achievers, I encourage you to go to focusforwardbusinessdesign.com. Click on coaching to sign up for your free 60-minute one-on-one session with me. It is my way of giving back to my community who supports me and who recognizes that this has been a tough go the past 12 months, and a little refocus might just be a great thing right now. Have a wonderful day, and remember, it is always your choice to focus forward.
Let's be revolutionary. Yeah, we could be so much more. Let's be more than ordinary.